Today I'm bringing you guys the ultimate guide to heads-up displays in Farlight 84. In today's video, I'm going to be going over heads-up displays for phone users using 2, 3, and 4 fingers. So basically like 99% of you guys, and as well as some tablet heads-up displays. So everyone watching this video should be able to walk away with either a new heads-up display or some new information that can help them make their own perfect heads-up display for how you enjoy playing mobile games. I do want to say all the heads-up displays I'm showing you guys today, these are just my personal preferences and what I've seen from other professionals around the community and other games and Farlight 84 using in their heads-up displays. So if you see anything and you think, oh, I want to change a button around, yeah, you can just do that. These are all suggestions. These are all preferences. They are good outlines and roadmaps for you to make your own heads-up displays. So if you want to copy them originally and then move things around as you start using the heads-up display, please, you are more than welcome to do that. You do not have to copy pixel by pixel my heads-up displays I'm showing you guys today. But anyways, a 2-finger heads-up display, and this is it right here on screen for you guys. It's very basic, and that's because you have 2 fingers. You have 2 inputs, both of your thumbs, and you basically have to make sure that all of the buttons are near your thumbs, because if you put buttons too far away, let's say in the corner, well, then you're gonna have to reach all the way up, and if you get caught out, if you get shot at, if you enter a weird awkward fight at that moment in time, there's a good chance you're just gonna die because your thumb isn't either on the look stick or the movement stick. And so for 2-finger heads-up displays, they're very basic, they're very simple, and I also would highly recommend that you guys have the auto loot setting turned on, that you have the auto mantle setting turned on, and instead of using the regular fire button, you use the shoot and ADS fire button, so that way when you just tap it, it'll automatically aim in and shoot for you at the same time. So it does a little bit of work for you, and it takes out some of that extra time of having to press the ADS button before you fire. Now, I would only recommend people play 2 fingers if they've never played a mobile shooter before. If you guys are a little bit more experienced, I recommend you move to a 3 or 4-finger heads-up display. And this right here is the 3-finger heads-up display I have designed for Farlight 84. It allows for a more fluid gameplay experience because your left pointer finger is going to be the one that's firing, that's reloading, that's ADSing, that's doing a lot of the legwork in terms of the actual mechanics of the game. Your right thumb is still going to be primarily used for looking around, so that way when you're in gunfights, you can use your left pointer finger to aim in, to shoot, to do whatever you need to do, while your right thumb can stay on the screen a majority of the time. So this just allows you to be a lot more cohesive in your gunfights, and so you're not lifting your thumb up to press a button and then having to reposition yourself every single time you enter a fight. It makes it a whole lot easier for you to enter and exit fights, once again, in a very fluid manner. I will say the top left of this heads-up display is pretty packed with buttons, and if you are just learning how to play claw for the first time, which is basically using more than just your 2 thumbs to play a mobile game, then you can definitely move some of these buttons around or allocate them to either of your thumbs. But I definitely recommend having at least the fire button, the reload button, and probably the ability buttons up there in the top left-hand corner for just your index finger to use. Now, it is important to note for the 3-finger heads-up display, the shoot button is also going to be the same as the 2-finger heads-up display, where it's going to be the shoot and ADS button. This way, it still saves you some real estate on your screen, and it saves you from having to use your thumb to do an extra button press every single time you engage in a fight. So the top left will be the shoot and ADS button, but beside it, you see a second fire button, and that is going to be the regular hip fire button, where you can use at any time in a fight. Now we're heading over to the 4-finger heads-up display, which is what I recommend every single phone player to use after they are pretty comfortable with the 3-finger heads-up display or the claw method of mobile gaming. Now, this heads-up display is very similar to the 3-finger heads-up display. Basically, you're just taking the buttons from the bottom right-hand corner and moving them to the top left-hand corner. You're going to be holding your phone with your 2 thumbs, and you're going to be using your 2 index fingers on the screen. So the other 6 fingers, they're just used to hold the phone. You don't use them for any buttons or anything like that. Now, the advantages of a 4-finger heads-up display is it allows you to basically have your 2 thumbs on the screen at all times. And if you don't know why this is important, it's because Farlight 84 is a very movement-heavy game. With the jetpacks and with the different abilities, you need to make sure that at a moment's notice, you can dash away or jump behind cover. And having your thumbs on the screen means you'll always be able to properly maneuver yourself in a gunfight while also being able to switch weapons, reload weapons, heal yourselves without having to take your thumbs off of the screen. For the top right hand corner, that button layout is all preference in terms of the ADS button, the jump, and the crouch. You can reposition those. You can make them in whichever order you want, however big you want. Once again, I feel like this is a really good starting point for most people. You can also take some of the buttons from the left hand side of the screen and move them over to the right hand side of the screen. But with the extra jump dash button and the side dash button, it does make it a little bit crowded over there. So I would be cautious of trying to overload one finger with too many buttons. Something I recommend for almost all heads-up displays though is once you do master one or you become really comfortable with the button and you no longer need to look at the buttons before you press them, you can go ahead and go into the heads-up display editor, click on a button and turn down the opacity to I think it's 0, around 5%. This will allow you to see more, have more screen real estate because your buttons will be taking up less of your field of view. And on phone, the field of view is much smaller than it is on a tablet. So you phone players need to get every little bit of advantage you can get. And so once you are very comfortable and you know where your buttons are, you can turn down the opacity. So that way you can basically just have a full screen without being obstructed by any of the buttons. And now for the 4-finger heads-up display, we are going to be changing which fire button we are actually using. In the top left-hand corner, you're going to want to use just the regular standard fire button, not the shoot an ADS button, because we are actually going to be turning this setting off because we no longer need it. Now we're going to be ending things off with some tablet heads-up displays. Now this is how I play Farlight 84 because one, I just really enjoy gaming on a tablet, and it also is nice to have my hands stretched out a bit. There's some key advantages of gaming on a tablet, especially in Farlight. You have an increased FOV and you're able to see opponents who are far away a little bit easier because your screen is just bigger than a phone screen. Now there are 2 heads-up displays I would recommend, either the classic 4-finger heads-up display or a 6-finger heads-up display. Now for the 4-finger heads-up display, you're basically just going to copy the 4-finger phone display over to your tablet, because that is how I started playing Claw on a tablet with 4 fingers, and that is literally the exact layout I used, was a 4-finger heads-up display adapted for tablets. However, you guys might be noticing that there's a lot of buttons that your index fingers are required to press, and that's why personally I play with a 6-finger heads-up display, and this is the heads-up display that I've been using to play Farlight 84, and I think it's been working tremendously for me. For this heads-up display, I use my left thumb for movement, my right thumb for aiming, and that's all they are required to do. I then use my 2 pointer fingers and then my 2 middle fingers. My hand just kind of lay on the tablet, and so wherever my hands lay, that's where I try to kind of put the buttons to make it the most comfortable for me. For all of these heads-up displays, your main goal is also comfort, because playing with a claw formation, it is uncomfortable at times if you have to scrunch up your hands or stretch your hands into really awkward maneuvers. And so while you obviously want to have a heads-up display that is super optimized for the mechanics of the game, you also want to make sure it is comfortable. And so for me, that's why my heads-up display is the way it is on a tablet. Now I do have to be honest, I don't actually use this specific heads-up display anymore. I have switched to aiming with my index finger, but I do not recommend that at all. I only do it because I have a messed up thumb, and it's just a little bit harder for me to aim. But the heads-up display that I showed you is the one that I've been using for years on mobile gaming, and it is one that almost every single tablet player uses in some adaptation. And once again, if you guys made it to the end of the video, then you've heard me say this multiple times, but please do not worry about copying these heads-up displays pixel perfect down to the, the opacity setting, to the size setting. Just get the general layout of these buttons. If you saw something that you thought you liked, then go ahead and take that aspect of the heads-up display, put it on yours, and try it out. One of the biggest things I can say is just try something until you feel like, hey, that's kind of comfortable, and stick with it. If you do end up deciding to change your heads-up display, you are going to have to adapt to this new configuration, and you're going to have to learn new muscle memory. One of the biggest things I can tell you to not do is to change your heads-up display every single game, every single day, and every single week. At some point in time, you're gonna have to find a heads-up display that works for you. Even if it's not 100% amazing, if it's 90% amazing, it's best to go ahead and get the general grasp down of how to play Claw or how to play with 3 or 4 fingers. And then once you have that, then you can start making those fine tweaks and fine-tune adjustments. Because if you're changing, your jump buttons up here, but now it's down there, and your fire was up here, but now it's over there, you're just gonna have a really hard time learning the layout of your heads-up display. And so get a layout and just learn the general vibe of it. And then once you have that down, it is more than fine to make those adjustments of moving the jump button down a little bit, or moving the aim button, or resizing it. I think that is more than fine, but definitely don't jump from 2 fingers to 4, then 3, then 8. You gotta find some sort of balance in all of the chaos. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, or you learned something. I know people who are new to mobile gaming, especially a game like this where right now at launch there's no controller support, it can be really confusing at times to actually get a comfortable heads-up display or feel like you're making progress on the game. So I hope one of these heads-up displays or any of the tips I gave in this video will help you become a better player in Farlight 84. If the tips did help you, a sub and a like on the video would be greatly appreciated. With all that being said, it's been DuckyTheGamer, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.